Okay, where to start? Where to start? Well, the first thing you got to do is figure out how high you want these shelves. And if you don't have anything to go by, usually I like to keep it the first one up about 2 feet off of the ground. Okay. Then your next shelf you can have 16 inches or so, and then the next ones you can have 12, 12, 12, something like that. And I was thinking of doing that, and I thought, hey, why don't I just look in here and mimic what's in here? Because if we get stuff in this in this little pantry area, when we walk over to there, I'd like to have the shelves about the same, you know. And so when I was looking at this initially, if I look at this bottom one, at about 24 inches from the ground to the bottom, and then the next one. Let's see. Okay, you can see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first one I'm going to have about 24 inches, and then see the next shelf here. It's got 15 inches, 15 and a quarter, and then 11 and a quarter. The next one's 11 and a quarter. The next one's 11 and a quarter. Okay, so I don't know why. I guess they did that because they needed to keep it a little bit less, so that they could get up to this top one. Had these shelves been up a little bit higher, this shelf would have been up that much higher, then you wouldn't have been able to get stuff stacked up in there. So I may go just a hair higher for the sake of argument in that other area, and I'll just have to see how things line up and get them kind of to mimic this. Yeah, so see, on my shelves, like I said, I may not be able to I can get the bottom one exactly at 24, because I can put this on the bottom clip or something, and then I've got to make sure to measure this distance, as well as the shelf, you know, has a 3/4 inch lip on it, so you don't want to make it 24 to here and then find out you only got 23 1/4 inches of clearance or so. And so I'll make a determination of that. But see, if you got a shelf bracket in there like that, your next one may not necessarily be exactly 16 inches by the time, you know, once you put it in, depending what this is, what your piece is overhanging and stuff. And so if that one's not exactly 16, I'll get it as close as I can. And then 12, 12, and so forth. Okay, and I had to do some pre-measuring on my shelves and stuff, because I'm not quite sure how many of the 5-footers. See, at the store again, you got to measure stuff before you go to the store, because see, this one's 5 feet tall, and then these are 4 feet tall, and a little bit over 4 feet, and they didn't have any taller than that. So then you've got to figure, okay, how many shelves you have and all that kind of stuff. And these type of shelf brackets I'm not necessarily going to need. See, they're set up for different things here. And then look at the bottom. I have no idea what that's for, because I don't think I'm not really going to use that. I'm not really going to use these top things either. Well, what is that for? Anyways, well, like in a closet, like the standard closet pole, or the vertical uprights, you only have one notch here. You don't have 2 notches. You just have one. And then it depends. If you buy that long metal trim track that fits along there, you can screw that into studs. Okay, and then you can set this. You lift this up and notch it in, and that holds most of the weight of your shelving. And that's kind of a slick way to do it, but I can't do that here because my ceiling's at an angle and all that kind of stuff. If it was just straight across, I could have gotten a track that goes across and then found the studs, right? And then screwed that in, and then put this in. Virtually all the weight of your brackets, your vertical brackets, supports, would be held off of that top. So even if the rest of your support bracket wasn't screwed into studs, you could just screw those in with some plastic anchors, knowing that most of your weight is held off of that top. You see what I mean? And so I mean, there's different ways to do things, but we'll get going here. And you know, like I said, I'm not gonna use those notches, and I don't know how many long ones I'm gonna use as opposed to short ones. So when I was at the store, I think I got an extra 5-footer, an extra 4-footer, and I might have one extra 6-foot tall shelf that I may not use, or one extra 4-foot shelf I may not use. And it's always nice to measure out your job and figure out what you got, so that when you go out to the store, then you think, oh, okay, they don't have 8-footers. Okay, what can I do? How many 8-footers do I need? You look at your list and do all that kind of stuff. Get as much stuff as you need, and then bring it back. And you can always take back your extra things. You don't want to get in the middle of your project and have to go back to the store to get one extra 5-foot bracket, do you? I mean, worst case scenario, you may have to do something like that. But hey, measure twice, and then take all your measurements to the store, do the best you can, and figure it out from there. And if you have to go back to the store, no biggie, you go back to the store, right? And on my brackets, these things weren't that cheap either, because these were the heavy duty ones, and I got 28 of those. I'm thinking I might need 26, 27 of those, but I'm not quite sure because of the angles and stuff. I thought, what the heck, I'll just get plenty of those. In fact, I may have 4 or 5 of these extra, one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. All these other screws, I may not use. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to use any of these because I think they're going to be too short. I didn't really think 3/4 of an inch of that screw going into the stud would be enough, you know, because you put them in here, you got lots of that screw hanging out. You could have a tendency of the screw sagging in your stud, bending, whatever. And so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to use those. Maybe I will. Who knows? When I get ready to start, I may put one of those in first before I figure that kind of stuff out. And it's just a little bit of a work in progress as you go. But hey, the one thing I do know is I'm going to save money by doing it myself. If you had a handyman come over here and do this, it's going to take him. He's probably going to charge you. My guess is $250. He may charge you more if you want him to pick up all the materials, and then he charges you an overhead and profit on the material costs and the labor to go get the material, deliver it to the job site, all that kind of stuff, and take it all back. This could be a $300 man-hour job if you had a handyman do this. Why not save that money by doing it yourself? Hey, you keep watching my videos. That's what my video channel is all about. Saving money around the house. If I can do it in average show, you can do it too. I got probably 2,500 videos that'll help you with all kinds of projects around the house. Best way to find what you're looking for, you may not even know what you're looking for. Just go to my main YouTube channel page, click on playlists, and then scroll through the many topics I have on my channel. I got over 50 topics to choose from. My word, something there. You should be able to save some money. And then you can scroll through all, different things. All my electrical stuff is all in one area. All the painting is all in one area. All the ceiling fans are in the one area. All the plumbing is all in one area. Anything having to do with doors, fixing doors, installing door handles, strike plates, deadbolts, you name it, will all be under doors, stuff like that. So scroll through there, send me a line, and let me know how much you're saving around the house. Let's see, the first shelf, you gotta think about it a little bit. Here's my 2-foot mark. I don't want to put the bottom of this at 2 feet because the shelf comes over just beyond this edge. See if I have the shelf here. See how it's got that edge on there, and this one fits slightly different because it has to kind of fit in that groove. So when it's like this, I know this edge sticks over from here about 1/4 inch. Okay. So that's where I want the 24 inches. is just below that. And see, I didn't want to put it on the very bottom with the double hooks, because then this sticks out beyond that. That looks kind of funky. I don't really want to do that. I'm going to put that right there. Here's my 24 inches. And if I wanted to have it exact, I could measure this up here. That's 3/4. It sticks down 1/4 inch. And then make sure that's pushed in there. And an inch from this edge over. It's right about there. Well, let's see. That's from this edge, not there. Okay, so yeah, about like that. Then I can take my 24 inches right here, line it up with that, and then measure, and then figure from the ground up to the bottom of that is about 21.5. And that's how I can figure the bottom edge of this in relation to the ground. You see what I mean? So you're just going to have to look at your shelves, measure them, and it works for anything, any other types of shelves too, depending what you want. Then I know that's where my first shelf's going to go, you see? All right, got to figure that out first, especially if you're going to use these for pantry shelves. Had I have figured for there, put them all up, and then you hook this and find out, oh man, it's too low. Well, just put it on the next one up, you know, and you're going to be about right. You might be a little bit higher than 24 inches, but then you can get your starter, and it doesn't matter. You can have the bottom of this sticking out as far as you want, for that matter. You can have stuck down that far if you want later on. If you want to move that shelf and make this a little bit more, 16 inches, whatever, for your first shelf, you can. You see what I mean? But once I decide I won't be able to, because all of my shelves are going to fit into that angled wall. So once I decide what to do with this bottom shelf and how far apart to make these, that's going to determine where, how I cut these shelves to length, you know, the main shelves, because these main shelves are going to be cut at an angle, and I won't be able to start messing around with these adjustments later on. You see what I mean? Because if I do, then it's going to mess up all the lengths of my shelves, and I'm not going to want that. Okay, here's your first step.